Welcome, I'm Bill Wake. We're working on a set of tools for dulcimer players, and we're focused on a chord index for mountain dulcimers, or a chord charts for mountain dulcimers. And today we want to do an index on the side so you can kind of quickly jump to the chord you're after. I've got a couple other things to do today too, but that'll be the big one, I think. All right, so index on side, list all the chromatic tones with chords, only show chords that can be formed. So we have a method that detects if it says, do you have a chord of this of this type, like a G major or a F sharp minor or something. And the way it computes it is it looks anywhere on the dulcimer to see if there's the right notes. But the fact is the right notes might be on the same string and then you couldn't form the chord. So we'd like to have a better way of detecting that. And then lastly, the chord shapes. We always reach for the first occurrence of a note on a string. But some chords, that leaves you with too big a reach. It's bigger than your hand can reach, or my hand anyway. And we'd like to try shifting things an octave. So if you have 054, that's reachable, but add 165 might not be reachable. But 865 might be very reachable. So we'd like to have that chance to find those chords too. Yeah, I think those three, but I actually want to start with another one. It's tunings. Well, they call it reverse tunings. Should use the middle string tone for starting note. Okay, let's see if I can. Well, I think I can just run what we have. So yesterday we added the ability to select tuning, so let's take DGD. All right, now it's not unreasonable to have the D chord in DGD. It's the fifth chord, so it's kind of an important chord. But this tuning is really not a D tuning, it's a G tuning. So much of the time the two bottom strings on the dulcimer are tuned a fifth apart. Well, normally D, A, D, say D to A is a fifth. D to G is only a fourth going up. It's a fifth going down. So they're kind of related. But D, A, D, the key is D with D, F sharp A being the major chord. D, G, D, the key is G, and G, B, D would be the first chord. So I think we should make these, put the middle string as the initial tuning note in this case. All right, I don't know if that makes great sense, but we'll do it anyway. Makes sense to me. Okay, so let's see, I think that's on tuning. Well, yeah. So tuning, always start note is what note are you going to start your chords from? Now, most people think of C as the starting note. If you're going to list all the notes on the keyboard, you'd probably start with C, but as a natural way to do it. Oddly, A ends up being the first note just because of the way we got here. There's so many things like that in music, that just, A was a more common key back then, and A minor, and the major kind of slimming down to most things being either major or minor kind of happened around the time of Bach, plus or minus. Before that, the modes, there were a set of many modes, and they would tend to be used in a much less sophisticated way harmonically, and the Baroque era kind of brought in the real deep exploration of the harmony. But yeah, regardless, you kind of want to start your listing in the key you're in. I guess that's the way to say it. Yeah, so it's not super. Whoops. Well, like I said, my teacher tends to play it. DGD is his favorite, but you can find a few. So CFC kind of is DGD one tune earlier. DGC. See, this one's a third off, so it's kind of doesn't even fit that at all. But I guess I could imagine F sharp D A tuning on some maybe on a baritone dulcimer or something. But DGC is the bottom two strings are a fourth. The C, well, this is actually a D minor tuning, so you get the C note at 0 and the D at 1. But yeah, D, G, G, E, A, E, A, D, E, A, E. Yeah, a number of them are fourths. So it happens enough. And it's not a big deal. It's not like you couldn't figure out, like, oh, D, E, F, G, you're going to find it there somewhere. But I think for the best kind of harmonically thing, I think that's the right way to go. Okay. So the start note, well, I'm going to add to this. I'm going to make another test. I don't think this is that hard, but a tuning uses the middle string, or maybe start note is the middle string when tuned in fourths. Okay. We'll take DGC. Okay. I'm not saying there aren't other tunings that might not conform to I mean, so far I think everything we have is either all the same, D D D, A, whatever, tuned by fifths on the bass two strings, tuned by fourths, and then this one exception of D F sharp A that's tuned by that's a major third. I think all the others conform to one of those things. So yeah, so mostly we cover it. I mean somebody could tune theirs to D E F if they wanted to. There's nothing that would, well, assuming your strings stretch to the right notes, but it's you could make up your own tuning, and as long as you're, what it kind of comes to, like the open fifth and the open fourth ones, which a fourth is an upside down fifth, those let you drone the bottom two strings, which is kind of very characteristic of at least much, if not all, definitely not all, but much dulcimer playing. If they do drone style, it's either going to be unison, D D D or A, or it's going to be a fourth or fifth apart. They call them perfect intervals in music because they sound reasonably good together. If you tune it D F sharp A, that strums makes a major chord, that's fine. But if you played, let's say, a C sharp against D F sharp, it's not going to sound very good. It's going to be very dissonant. So if you pick a random tuning that doesn't involve a fourth or a fifth, you pretty much have to make sure that you keep three fingers on three strings at all times, or at least two, because otherwise you'll end up with kind of a very clashy sounding drone. I could imagine you could tune to C F sharp A, but C and F sharp, that's the tritone. It sounds very, very dissonant, and any chord or any drone sound you did with that would have a dissonant sound underneath. It won't ever sound good, or at least it won't sound consonant. I won't make the moral judgment or the artistic judgment, but I'm gonna flip this around and change its name. Whoops. Change its name because I'm defining it as not the other. So let's say start note is the bass string when not tuned in fourths, even though that's the most common case in general, because DAD is the most common one. Okay. Yeah, so I mean, reverse tells you the middle string has the bass note. Okay, even if it's a higher note. If that makes sense. Okay, so let's run this. It should fail. Yes. I mentioned John Reed's article the other day on testing with Swift UI, unit testing with Swift UI. One of the other things that came up, either I forget if it was in his or one of the ones he referred to, but it was like, well, if you do sub projects, you will lower the cost of starting up. Like when you're doing the preview, you'll lower the cost of that. Like, I wonder if that would be enough difference to justify it to us, because we do have kind of a funny, I mean, like the calendar intellectually or in a programming sense, right, has nothing to do with the chords or the song charts or the metronome or any of that stuff. They're not all strictly independent tools, but they kind of cluster. We have 3 that are built around songs and 1 that's built around the metronome and whatever. Okay, 1 issue. Yeah, so we should have gotten D. So we start note goes to position 2 versus 7. So 2 is C, C sharp, D, all right, and 7 is G. Okay, so, and I guess the difference is going to be 5. So let's go. D to D sharp is 1. To E, let's see, to D sharp, to E, to F sharp, to G. So that's the 5 difference. Okay, and I don't think it's that bad. If string sub 0 dot plus 5 equals string sub 1, okay, I don't know if that's self. Yeah, almost deserves a comment. Well, let's let perfect fourth equals perfect fourth distance equals 5. I guess I could have done a mechanical extract. I was right, should, which I should just say what it does in this future state, not should. Okay, let's commit. And we'll run it and make sure that actually does the right thing. So we're going to rely on the wraparound. It should start G. It should go G through F sharp now. Okay, yeah, there's G up through F sharp. Okay. Good, good, good. All right. So yeah, the next one's this index on the side. And so what I'd like to see in this case is G, A, B, C, D, E, F, F sharp, listed just over here. And we'll highlight the one that's currently selected. I guess we don't have to. If I think about the way the phone book app works or something, I think you just tap over there and it does the right thing. All right, so the look we saw the other day, there's nothing built in that does this per se. It doesn't look like. They just did a Z stack over on the right, which seems like the way to go. Okay. We want it to be outside the scroll view, but linked to the scroll view. So that'll be some. Maybe that can't be. Do I still have that around? Okay, so, he's got scroll view reader. Interesting. I mean, normally there's a way to label points in the scrolling. Is that a search bar? Wait a minute. Okay, maybe I don't know this thing. Is search bar built in? I know they had built more search stuff in. Sidebar placement of searchable modifier. There isn't. What? Okay, how to add a search bar to filter your data. That sounds promising. Okay, you got navigation stack, navigation title, searchable. Well, that's a little different. They just want to show it. They want to filter by it. So their search results is the list. That's not really what we want to do. Yeah, we don't want a search bar per se. For each alphabet letter. I don't know, that seems... No, I thought there were... Scroll view reader. Yeah, scroll proxy. That's the one. We've done that before. We scroll to something, and then how that gets tied to this, I'm not sure. For each indexable list. Yeah, that sounds like what we want. Yeah, we head to the scroll proxy to scroll to it. So maybe we do have to be... But it looks like he's floating there, so that seems weird. Yeah, I think the... this scroll to, and I don't know where it's getting the... I don't know. We're not using a list. Are we? Maybe we are. We sort of implicitly are. All right, let's go find it. I guess that's this. We're doing for eaches. We don't really have a list. But I don't know if I don't know. We have to be a list. Oh, IDI. So maybe that ID is the thing we're jumping to. Okay. Well. Okay, that one's right out. Yeah, this proxy scroll to, so we have to scroll view reader. I guess that's a scroll view and a reader. Well, let's see. We have a scroll view. Okay, let's change it to scroll view reader. Proxy in is ignored. It'll probably complain a little. Okay. But then for each note, oh, was it? Indexable list. Sorry, I'm missing the Z stack here. Now this one has a Z stack. Oh, there's the Z stack constant, and then this is the list. Okay. All right. So let's put our stuff in a Z stack. You know, I mean, this stuff's just supposed to work, but I never quite get them to, like, if I do this, can I embed in, like, why isn't it volunteering to embed in something? It just isn't, but who knows? Okay, so this Z stack, I guess this is a Z stack with a V stack. Right, we want this stuff to be 1, and then we need some refactoring, but this is the chord index. Whatever. Okay. Probably better say view. I mean, it's pretty clear I need to pull this piece out into its own view too. Yes, I'm not using the proxy yet. I guess eventually I'll have to pass that in here. Okay. It's funny, it gets it to a certain point and then pushes it to the back of the screen. Okay, but okay, something's going on. Well, let's not do the chord index view. Is scroll view reader not a scroll view? Oh, maybe it isn't. It's the modifier. Simple demo view is a list, which is sort of implicitly a scroll view. Okay, let's. Okay, yeah, so I think I've mutilated my stuff too much. Let me rewrite this. Okay, now back to this. So this thing, I think we want to put that on the scroll view. Dot modifier vertical index view. Or something like that. We'll just take this for now. Okay. Maybe I don't need view on that. It's not really a view. Okay. Okay. I think it should show, but not click. No, I don't think so. The thing, like a list is a compound structure that is embeds itself. Part of its thing is it holds a scroll view in which it puts all the rows. So it's not the for each that makes the scroll view. In our case, it's not the list. It's I gotta say that. So if I look at the implementation of list, I expect to see scroll view and then all the stuff that generates the rows. In our case, we have a scroll view and a thing that generates the rows. So we're just kind of manually making a list-like object, but I didn't want all the list stuff. I don't want to delete them or any of that kind of stuff. Sort them, rearrange them, drag them. Okay, but I think this is promising. Okay, so I guess the funny part is, or what I don't understand here, I scroll to letter. Is the letter... Okay, here's this. Somewhere there's got to be an ID, right? Oh, there it is. Section ID letter. Okay, so... I mean, if I get those IDs in, then I'll be okay, I think. All right, now I don't know that the colors did anything for me. That's a little obscure. Let's go up a bit. Padding trailing 7. I'm gonna make that 10. Okay, so scroll to letter, indexable lists. Yeah, that's not really... Okay. They're not going to be letters in our case. Let's rename this to index. Okay, button with animation. Label is the text. I'm going to make this bold as well. Okay. H stack, so V stack. I don't know why it's positioned. I guess why is it centered vertically? And I don't know if that's the right goal. Okay, well, it's slightly better. I mean, it would be nicer up here, honestly, but they do have it the way I want it. You know, it doesn't scroll when you do this. We'll have to look at like F sharp or something, because that'll be a little wider, and make sure that doesn't encroach too much. Although I don't think visually it would throw you off. Okay. This is, well, I'll just say item. Gotta get myself making sure I understand these. It's really like an ID as much as anything. Or target ID. Okay. But yeah, this is good. Can I add a spacer after the index list to push it up? Yeah, I don't know. He's a VStack, so I should be able to, huh? That's the bottom. Spacer. I think there's a way to do it. Is there alignment? Does it give you horizontal alignment? Yeah. Ugh. That always seems wrong to me. Like, I want to align my vertical thing vertically and my horizontal things horizontally, but they give the opposite. You can specify the vertical alignment on your H stack. But the spacer should do that. Let's run and see if that helps. And I guess the scroll view is the part below the top header there. So I don't think it'll push it all the way up here. It'll push it up to where that header ends, I hope. Okay. Yeah. A little padding on top wouldn't hurt anything, but that's all right. Yeah, let's go ahead and give it a little bit of padding up there. VStack. Let's try this. Now, some of these, that one just does that. Yeah, this has a little vertical stripe that's a little different color as a background to kind of make it more apparent it's an index, I guess. That's very close, but it is different. I don't know if we can add a material background or something that would do that. Okay, chord chart. Yeah. Right. These things don't have the right IDs. Okay. Well, then our next thing is, I believe we're running through these things. Let's see. Where's... Oh, I closed everything. Right, our for each is through this. Oh, well, that's another refactoring. So I think we should ask the chart, what are your chromatic notes? And that should be easy enough. It's kind of an inline of this. We'll check the type. Okay. Yeah, I think something like that might do it. All right, well, let's work on the index. Well, we're gonna make it list all notes. Semi-transparent background on index. Add IDs to okay. Now I wonder if these note names. He should complain. Yeah. But I think they could be. I think they'd be reasonable IDs. Let's do that. This is, I guess, ID. Okay. Well, if I make him custom string convertible, I think that should do it. We'll see about folding those together later, but just trying to get this thing. What's this matter? Chords to hashable. Okay. No exact matches. Okay. ID conform to string protocol. Build. See if that goes away. Custom string convertible. Parameter custom string. No. Chromatic notes should be a note name, which should be custom string convertible. Type of expression is ambiguous. Maybe I'm going back. That's the wrong way. All right, my hope is we get all the chromatic letters starting at our start note. It would be kind of nice if we only had the ones that had chords with them, but I don't know. Maybe it's just as well that they're there and they just won't go anywhere. Yuck. Maybe they could center vertically. It might even look better at left justified. If I put the spacer at the bottom. Okay. That is not what I want. No, that's not going to be it either. Yeah, I agree. We can spread them out, but I think that's too usual to have the index on the right. But I mean, I will say I like them better left aligned in their column. So what's the deal with that? H-deck spacer. I mean, I think this doesn't do anything because... Oh, but I think it's going to line all the blank spaces and leave these wherever they want to be. But yeah, let's get a little... How can we... I think this could be bigger too. All right, so we have text. I mean, maybe I should put a monospace font and leave a space, or And the spacer, so this spacer is all the space to force this thing to the right side. The H deck, I mean, his alignment's going to be vertical, so that's not going to help us. Yeah. I mean, I could probably put him in a frame. That does not seem helpful. Doesn't frame have alignment? Frame width, height, alignment. I'm thinking G sharp will look better with the G's aligned than they will centered. Okay, let's see if this... can add a frame on the V stack to limit the width. Yeah, maybe that'd be the place to do it there. Okay, that's closer. It's probably more than it needs. And I think you're right. We can probably move this down to the V stack. Let's make it 24. We decided that didn't do anything. Oh, maybe the frame, I think it's in the wrong place. Yeah. Okay. I think we want the frame on the H stack. No, I think it's got to be on the button. Now, is that suggesting 24 is not wide enough? Okay, I think, ooh. No, I want the sharps in there too. Let's, all right, let's change this back to 32. Get everything in the right place and then decide. Maybe a smaller font would help. Maybe this 10 is coming out of that 32. I don't know. Okay. Yeah, that's somewhat better. I think the 10 is probably go the other extreme and then decide what to make it. That doesn't seem to make any difference. Yeah, that's a little better. All right, now let's... Add the padding to the button instead of the text. Yeah. See the material. I don't see any difference. um. So you think this one should be on the button as well? Let's make this green. We can see if it's doing anything. No. Button style. Top background. I thought background was deprecated. I guess green's the wrong choice anyway for this. Let's make it yellow. Perhaps. Okay, yeah, because they don't have a common. I think we need to flip it around. I think we should make the column of text and then put that inside the H stack. All right, so let's try swapping. No, the V stack should be. Let me try moving this outside. Okay, so we got our Z stack. Then we have our H stack, consists of a bunch of space followed by the V stack. Okay. And then now this, I think now that can go on the V stack. Is this the V stack? Yes. Okay, so his width is that, his alignment, and then his background. Maybe it should go down. Let's try that. The yellow looks pretty sickly though. I think a very, very light green. Okay, so now he's not. Color goes outside the frame. Yeah, that's probably true. Although that's more or less what I want. But now, frame width. Oh, we don't need this spacer. Okay, so we got the spacer of the stack, and that alignment 28 leading, or width 28. Okay, yeah, let's see. Well, that's closer. Now it's centered. Oh, now I can put the alignment on the V stack. Okay. Now, this padding, no. The width. Well, I don't like... Like, I want a little padding in front of the letter, but not much. All right, I guess we'll keep playing. Yeah, I feel like I hate waiting for this thing to start up all the time. Okay, that's fine as far as like lined up. It's got a little more space on the right than I want, but not a lot. And where's that coming from? That's coming from the width. Okay, so I think if I do padding leading to, well, let's just change nothing else and see what that has impact. I think I can cut my width a little bit now. Yeah, a little breathing room helps. It could probably be 4 and cut this down to 20. But that's looking good. I mean, that's getting there. No, that's too tight. Alignment leading on the frame. I don't think that's, I think that's redundant to this maybe. Yeah, 28 was better, wasn't it? I'll say 26. I don't know, it's kind of being empirical, and I don't think we need this now because we have it on the alignment, on the V stack. Yeah, I'd say that vertical is too much, but this is pretty close. Golly. Okay, I'm gonna cut that to 3. I don't know. I mean, that should be proportional in any view. I just want a hair more on the right. And then, okay, they're buttons. All right, so, that's the per button. Where's that's the 64, or the overall. That's on the H stack. Yeah, I guess that whole thing has to slide down. But I'd like a little space under this, just like we have a little on there. So the V stack, let's do padding bottom 4. Okay. Now to figure out the material stuff. Label flag. Background regular material. Okay, well let's try that. I guess start with a regular. Yeah, that's true. That's getting there. This is still down too far. And he's still a little... I'd say he's still a little tight on the right. Okay, back to 28. Yeah, so I think let's split, have this look. He's got a little there, but yeah, that 4 was probably not enough. And I don't know, regular materials seemed... I'd like a little more subtlety. So maybe thin. We'll try that. Probably could have done those changes at the same time. Okay, that's a little better. Yeah, I think that'll do. I don't know why the top is still so far away. Let's take this off and see what effect, and then put this to thin. And I thought we had, well, we haven't tried this, we haven't fooled with this since we switched to the H stack on the outside. Okay, that has nothing to do with it. Okay, I think that's a little better. It's a little subtle, and I think it's nice. These are still reachable, clickable. I mean, they're reasonable size. Is there a spacer at the top that pushes the V stack down? Not that I can see. I mean, I think he's centering in this view. I think that looks about the same as that. Okay, which is sort of a default thing, right? Well, maybe we can do this. Alignment top. But I like the more subtle background. I think is good. The spacing's okay, not perfect. I don't know if I can get perfect, but why? V stack for each. Okay. Oh, interesting. Now he's all the way to the top, which, whoops, which isn't terrible. He gets covered. Okay, that's. I think I liked it better just part way. Okay, so let's put the background on the V stack. The frame width. On the whole stack. The background on the for each. Well, put it far enough down. I don't know if that's coincidence. All right, let's. Well, that's terrible. I don't know if you can see, but the background has gaps in it now. So whatever I did. All right, I'm gonna go undo a ways. Okay, let's see where that leaves us. Clearly, I need to check in before I fiddle too much. I think that's okay, that's okay. No, that's still different. Yeah, I definitely messed that up. Well, I think I lost my thin material. There it goes. Okay, so that's applied to the background. Yeah. Okay, I mean, this is minimally acceptable. I guess that didn't go. All right, so let's check this in. So I don't particularly want it going all the way down. Why is it going all the way down? All right, so the V stack. Yeah, he's going all the way down. There's no way around that. Let's make it visible. Okay. Move the spacer down below the background. Okay, well that's all right. So move the spacer. Well, the spacer. All right, he's after the 4 each, so he's. If I move him outside the, well, he's there to put space at the bottom here. I don't know why he doesn't work. I don't know if he's doing anything either. Okay, yeah, you're right. That's doing something. Okay, so now this is inside. Why is that inside? He's on the whole V stack. Now, I don't know if that 100 is coming in here or if it's affecting this. Where's my tops? I got 8 on the top. That seems minimal. Okay, let's try this. Okay, I think I'm controlling that 100 is there, and I think let's make him 48. I don't know. I like multiples of 4 just because a lot of the Apple system defined stuff is multiples of 4, but sometimes it doesn't seem to work out. So you saw a 3 in there before. Okay, that did not seem to change it. What? Almost 48's bigger, I think. Even centered vertically is not that bad. Maybe I should just let that be. But that's not centered, right? I mean, that's... Well, okay, so if I take the bottom one, move it to the top, I think it's centered in this. So that looks like a little inch plus, and I think that's about the same. I'm going to say that's okay. A spacer below the padding. Okay, but that's the H stack, so padding would only push it right. I mean, spacer would only push it to the right. I think he's basically centered in his view, and his view is treated as the windows, the space below the. Oh, sorry, I changed the line numbers on you. The spacer on line. I think you need a spacer below the padding. Push it up to the 48. So this one's on the V stack. Okay. And you think I should still have the padding? Okay, but we're back to this thing stretching all the way down. I don't know if I can move the material again. I think he's got to be after the frame. I think this busted it up, but we'll see. The spacer is inside the background, yeah. Right, because he's on the bottom, so he's stretched out to the bottom. That makes sense. Yeah, they're separated again. Okay. I think I'm gonna say take this and take this and see what we get. Now, if I move him down a spacer down, he's on the H stack, so he's going to slide it horizontally. Okay, I think that's good. It visually looks in the center of what you have when you start scrolling. And in this one, it's kind of, I mean, this space is dedicated to these two controls, so I'm not too concerned about it. Yeah, I think that's a good look. Okay. Now we haven't actually made it work. Okay. So what's weird to me on this, we'll pull that out later, but so really I want the ID to be here. And I don't know. Yeah, we really should rotate and make sure it's not going to be scrollable. I don't think. Oh, how annoying. Okay, I'm going to have to, I guess I'm going to have to put less vertical space in there between them. Let's make this 4. See how that does. See if we can get enough height to get them all in there anyway. G to F, not quite. I mean, you don't have to use those. You can just scroll. The other one that I know of is there's a view that fits view that you can choose which one. Okay, that works. Well, it doesn't work. That still looks like a lot of space between those. Let's just take that off briefly. Well, that's certainly, wow. That was 2 before. I mean, I think it's still touchable, but wow. Yeah, horizontal variant for portrait mode. Yeah, I may leave it like this for now as being sort of just adequate. Um, but I can't believe how much difference in space there is there with that. Yeah, I mean that's a little too much. And this is not the smallest phone. Why? Isn't he padding 2 pixels on there? Let's try this in the other rotation and see. But you're right. Maybe the horizontal variant would be the way to go. Well, that's certainly visible. Looks very tight on this. I'm gonna leave that, but let's not totally lose that. Chord. Is that adequate? I mean, he looks a little tight, but I don't think he's any worse than these index ones looked. I mean, they're very tight. Of course, on my phone, frankly, I bump the wrong letter on the contacts all the time. Okay, but I think I'll make sure this is still. I think that's an okay compromise for now. Okay, so we got lots of stuff on the view done on this, but we haven't actually hooked up those IDs. So let's take a break, 3 or 4 minutes. We'll come back and figure out how to put IDs in here. All right, see you in a few minutes. Oh, that's a good question too. We'll try that too when we get back. All right, let's see. We left off. Can we use fractional pixels? I think the answer is going to be yes, but I don't think it's going to fit in landscape mode. so that's certainly doing something. Oh, he still fits. Yeah, he's a little cut off on the G, but yeah, it'll be okay. All right, so let's. Okay, so what I don't know, I think, let's see, this note, he's a note name, I think. Yeah. Okay, so what I hope I can do is this. So I'm just putting a placeholder in here for the target. Oh, do I need parentheses? And I was trying to look up if it's possible to put an ID, if this will work with scroll view, but I didn't find an answer. But I think so. This is to put the ID because that's the target of our indexes, and the scroll tool should find them. I think what this will do, if we have a note we don't use, I think he'll still be able to jump there, but you'll get there and there won't be any chord of that name. I think that's okay. Okay, so let's try this. And if this doesn't work, I'm not quite sure what to do. We'd have to... Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I can move a divider here or something. Well, dun dun dun. Okay, that was too easy. All right. Something just works, and I don't have to fuss with it. Make sure this goes good. All right, jump to D. Well, he's down there on the bottom. I guess that's okay. I thought scroll 2 would kind of center him if he could. Back to G. A is already in view. C is not. I guess he just squeaks him in. Okay. Tolerable. Okay, G sharp. Do we have a G sharp? No. Okay, so G sharp. There's nothing there. But he squeezed him in on the top, interestingly. D sharp we don't have. Interesting. He doesn't give you much control there. Move the empty view below the fretboard. The fretboard's coming out per chord. So it's the empty view is really before the first G chord, before the first A chord, because we go through the notes and then we get all the chords on that note. So yeah, I think this thing just kind of does its minimal. It pulls it in one unit or something like that, you know, a little bit of ways in. Yeah, so D sharp would be there. Yeah, but I'm very happy with this. I think because you have a lot of chords, you know, and if you pick chromatic, you're like gonna have every chord. Okay, so G sharp, A, B, you know, there's all these 5 dulcimer chords for each of those. If I had a way to kind of blank those out or dim them or something, I wouldn't mind, but I don't really. The way we're doing this, the index is it's those chromatic notes. There's no interaction between this list and this list other than they have to do the same. Yeah, exactly. I mean, and and if they improve it, it'll improve. But it's bringing the top of the view into view. Even if it's the last one here, I'm not going to complain. I would like it. I mean, if they gave you some visual indicator just briefly, like an animation or something to do it, would be cool. But yeah, I'm not gonna fight that much of a battle with it. I'm just very happy with it. Okay, so that's good. All right. That was the easy part. I'm glad the empty view trick worked. Okay, so put indexes in main view. So, well, put, is it ID? Yeah, ID. Okay. Okay, list all notes, yes. Add IDs for each note, semi-transparent background, index on side, yes. All good stuff. Oops. I guess we did this one last. Okay. Only show short chords that can be formed. So I think, well, I guess what I'm wondering is, do we need this has chords at all? Like, what does one chord view do? Well, he prints the chord name. All right, let's go look at this again. So he prints the B diminished BDF. Wait a minute, how's he know? Am I missing something? For each chord quality, so that's the major minor thing. Show the view for each chord. But if there's none, how do we know? I mean, now we know because we do this has chords thing. But in here, we know because chart.shapes. So this is the array of shape things, chord shapes. I don't know if it's worth going after it twice, but like that's the thing we should be asking. Well, okay. Let's find the example so we can see it in real life here. Okay, I think it was very easy to find one on DF sharp A tuning. Okay, so we had, I think we had a shape with no chords. Yeah, there it is, D sharp minor. Okay, because the F sharps on the outer strings, but there's no D or A sharp on the outer strings. Okay, so we came in and we put out this stuff, but there's no chord that can be formed. Okay, so I think this thing is really the true version of that. And I don't think it takes that long to generate a chord that it's necessarily well, okay, I guess if that's the argument, let's ask chord chart. So I guess I'm claiming this is it. That it can figure out the shapes, and if there are some, if it's not empty, there are some, then I think that's the same. So let's run this again. Okay, so now there's no D sharp chord that has no D sharp major that has no chord in it. So that does work. All right, so let's put that back. Experiment, or little spiky test is done. All right, run tests. We haven't done that in a while. And let's find the chord chart tests. And I think we have one that's relevant. Yeah, has chords. Okay, so I guess it does is knows we don't have a chord. Okay, so we were in D, F sharp, A. I'll have to find a sharp later. With the diatonic board. Okay, so notice we don't have a chord if all notes cannot, I'll say cannot, spell it out further, cannot be played together. Okay, where's a sharp? There's one. And I think that's the right way to go, because like if you can't, the question is, can you play this chord? And if you can't play it, then that means it's not there. As far as we're concerned, we're not going to list it. And this should fail. I should say that. I mean, I'm happy with where we started. You know, it was okay to be an approximation, but I think let's get the right answer since we have it now. Grr. Okay, let's try it manually. Make sure I have the right one in mind. Diatonic, D, F sharp, A. D sharp major. Did I get that reversed? Yeah. Yeah, yeah. But I think this will fail. I mean, it passed when I had the not missing, so it seems like it absolutely has to, but there we go. Okay, so we expected it to not be there, and it was there. All right, and let's take the other implementation. Whoops. Uh-oh. Oh, this one failed. Okay, well, what's the deal there? Oh. Is that not reachable? Diminished board. D sharp diminished. Well, D, F, A flat. Oh, but this is not D, A, D. Well, let's take this. We don't spell them that way, so let's do that. D sharp diminished. I don't see why that should be there at all. It's got well, that's D fret 0. Oops. Fret 1 is D sharp. Fret 4 is F. D to F is a minor interval. D to sharp to F is a major. So I don't quite get it. I think diminished board is just for this test. Okay. I mean, I think this should be fret 0. D, F, G sharp, D, no, fret 4. Fret 7 is, okay, 4 is 1 plus, 5 is 2, 6 is 2 plus, 7 is 3. I don't think that makes any sense. All right, gotta look at a board. Oh, here's one. Okay, F is here, so 0 is D, F, 0, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, not 4. Three, 4, 5. Sorry, D, F, A. A is 4. A flat. D, F, A is a minor chord, so you gotta flat the 5th, so it should be the 3 plus, which is at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so 0, 1, 2, 3 gives me F, D, F. Oh, no, I'm screwed up on my notes. Ah. Okay. And this was fret 1. Oh, God. Okay, I guess I'll go all the way. That's what we started with. 1 is a 0 plus, that is true. 4, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 is fret 2. Okay. All right, so 0 plus, that's D sharp. E, F. F sharp. Okay, 2 is F sharp. D sharp, F sharp, and then fret 7. Fret 7. Okay, he's an A. D sharp, F sharp, G sharp. Okay, I think I don't know, the thing there, D, F, G flat, that would be for 0, 1.5. And then 7. So that, oh gosh, sorry. Okay, so D sharp would be, well, sorry, let's take this one, D, F, A flat. Okay, I think that would be 0. 3 is 1.5. And then G sharp is, well, on the middle string, he's going to be the 6 plus. That's not going to work. I'm crossing my strings with my frets and getting confused. I'm sorry. All right, there's a D. Here's an F on the outer board. What about the middle board? If we had A flat, well, that's going to have to be 6 plus. That's not so good. well, that would be 11 is 6 plus. All right, let's make sure that works. I don't see how that one worked. Okay, so this is D. I guess it's D, F, C sharp on the first string. D, F, C sharp, A, C, G sharp. D, F, C sharp. Okay, so why did you fail? I said you should have a, oh, that should be a D now. You should have a D diminished, but not an E diminished. Okay. But our new one passed, so that's good. All right, so D, F, A sharp. Now this one might not pass in the future because the stretch is too big. Okay, yeah, so this is fret 1.5 to 6.5. That's a pretty big stretch. You might, yeah, I don't think my whole hand could do it. But we don't check that now, but it's on a future story. Okay, so make chord chart fully accurate as to whether a chord can be played. Okay, so, all right. Well, I don't know if half an hour is enough for this next one, but this is to deal with the reachability factor. So, what my thought is, like, I think we're gonna have to be able to ask for a shape, like, what's your minimum number and what's your maximum number, and if the minimum number is 0, well, I mean, I think there may be two concepts. One is around getting the best chord, and one is getting an open chord. So if we're in DAD and you have 0, 5, 7, sorry, 4, 0, 5, 4. Okay, so 4, 5, 7 or 7, 5, 4 is a legit D chord with the D an octave higher. If it's also, though, if you had D, if 0, 5, 4, or maybe we could do 4, 5, 0. Okay, so 4, 5, instead of 4, 5, 7, we only have 4, 5, 0 because we only look at the first occurrence of a D. But it's certainly acceptable to have a D chord that has a 7 in it. You're not in the next octave yet. You're still in that first octave, but you're kind of starting to reach into the second octave for some of the notes. So in this case, like, I would say the reach of the chord is from 0 to 5 in some sense, which is too big a stretch. If it were anything but 0. 0 we can just leave open, so it's okay. But even this, it should indicate to me 0 to 5. That sort of says my open string, one of my open strings could go up an octave, and it would be probably closer unless they were both open. Okay, so I don't know how to get the minority or majority. Yeah, check whether the next octave of a note is closer to the other ones. So I think it would be tentatively take, if you have only one note that's open, okay, I think that's the starting point. If I only have one note open and I form this chord and it's too big for my hand, I mean, 002 is fine because it fits, you know. If I shift 002 to 113, it's still a reasonable reach, you know. If I shift 450 to 5/6 1, I can't reach that. So it's really these ones where the reach is kind of big. If the reach is big and I've got one open chord, one open note, raise it an octave and make sure that the reach gets smaller. And if it does, then add that to the list as well. So that's definitely one case. Then the other case is I have no open notes, but I have a note that's really low relative to the others. So 1/6 5 is too big to stretch, but if I move that 1 up an octave to 8, and 8, 6 5, it's pretty reasonable. Now, I don't know if you can have one, I guess not in DAD, because you're never going to have two open strings. Well, I guess if you did DA, 002 is a legit one. 009 is also legit in the sense that it's a D, an A, and an F sharp. It's not really one you would do very much, but it does happen. Okay, so I'm not sure how to best go with this, but something. I mean, I need something that says what's the stretch of this chord, ignoring open notes, open strings, and what's the stretch of the reach of this chord, regardless. I think both those concepts are going to be needed to do this, and I'm okay with it being half steps. So 1 to 4 is kind of my, well, actually it's a 1 2 4 chord is an A chord. E, C sharp. Is that right? E, C sharp. Yeah, so E, C sharp, A is 1 2 4. That's a big stretch. 1 2 3 4 5. So if I did this plus 5 half steps, 1 2 3 4 5, that's kind of as big a chord as I want to do. Now it's a bigger stretch on the low notes, you know, from 1 to 4 is a bigger stretch than 4 to 7, say. I mean, 4 to 7 is reachable where 1 to 4 is a stretch. Okay, but I think we need both those concepts of what's the number of half steps from the lowest one to the highest one, and what's the distance from the lowest one that isn't open to the highest one that isn't open. Okay, and there may not be any depending on the tuning or something, but if there is, we want to know it. I guess we're passing in a shape and we're going to assess them all. Are you reachable? And if you're not reachable, we're going to dump you. But we're going to try and make an octave version first. Okay. And then if you are reachable, but you're not movable, maybe that's the way to say it. You know, 0 0 0. What did I have before? It was 0 something. Well, 207. No, I gotta have something with my G sharp. Okay, so let's do an E chord. E is 1, G is 6.5, and B is 5. So a 1 6.5 5 chord is too big to stretch, but you could move the 1 up to the octave 8 6.5 5 and you're fine. Okay. Whereas our 154 is a big stretch, but it's not a problem. So the stretchiness isn't the whole story. Okay. Yeah. So I think let's get let's see if we can finish giving shape the answer. Can it answer those two things? How many half steps from the low note to the high note, and how many of the half steps to the low note to the high note, ignoring open notes? So I guess it could answer 0 on D, A, F sharp, and that would be okay. If it was D, F sharp, A tuning, you'd have had 3 3 3. Yeah, I think that's okay. All right. So that is chord shape. Let's close all this. We'll open chord shape. Okay. Yeah, did chord shape. Okay, so description, that's fine. I guess we'll put this up in the main class. That's kind of a function up there. So we're going to ask width goes from lowest to highest. Okay. And we'll make a chord shape. Okay, so fret, let's be real. Let's do, well, 301 is a G chord. Sorry. Well, 013 or 310 is a G chord. Okay, let's do that one. So fret 0 is 0. Fret 2 is 1. And fret, sorry, 0 is not, 2 is 1, yeah, okay. 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. We call it 3. So 0, 1, 3 is a valid chord shape. Yes. Okay. And then the let's just say set dot width. Well, from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 should be the same, yeah, is 5. Okay. And there's some variation, like 1, 2, 4. If that's a major chord, but if you went to the minor chord, 1 plus 2, 4. No, that's okay, but 2, 1, 2, 4, 2, 3, 5 is a different shape to your hand, because this is a whole step from the first to the second, and this is a half step. So there's a little bit of weirdness. Okay. So I think we want to say let max, well, we want the distance. Let's take frets dot min. Okay, I think we can say that these exist. If you start asking the width of an empty thing, that wouldn't work. Okay. I think I can just return this. It'll be pretty clear. All right, now I'm not liking my test so well because it doesn't worry about zeros. He should pass, mind you, but okay. I don't know if I need another one. Let me see if I can fit this on one line too. Sorry. Okay, I think that helps. And then let's define I don't know the right word for this. Open width. It's almost the closed width or the covered width, the reach width, the reach. So we're really reaching from fret 1 to fret 3. The reach doesn't... Well, reach to me implies something about your hands, and I think that's what this is. It's like, how big does my hand have to be? You have to be able to reach 2 half steps to play this chord. Okay, so let's... I don't see a reason to return a -1 on this one. Our reach equals... Well, that's an int. Okay, I'll assume I return -1. So now I'm going to take the frets dot filter and $0 dot index is not 0. Okay, so let reached frets equals that. Okay, and then I probably want to say something if it's empty, but we'll make a case for that, a separate test. But this one, I think I want to say, well, I really want to do this again. So let's make a, let's make something that takes an array. Okay, that's that one, and then this one is going to be okay, so this is only the frets that are in there, and if you had all the same, then that's fine. 0, 0, 5, 5 is a fret reach of 0. We'll do that kind of test. Oh. Set that reach is 5. Did I pass the right one? X not equals 0. Why would you be 5? Set that reach gets 5. Make sure my example has a 0, yes. Okay. Well, I guess I'll pause here. Oh. My manual extraction was not a quality one. Except I think, am I calculating this wrong? From fret 5 to should be, I think, a distance of 3. Sorry, I just 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 5. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3. Yes. It's very easy to get off by ones with these. Whoops. Okay. Let's make sure. So if you were in D, F sharp A tuning, this could happen to you easily. So that reach is 0. And maybe I'll break this test up too. This one's with, let's make reach goes from lowest to highest non-open strings. Unexpected crash. Yep. Okay, because we passed an empty array in, so we'll just say if reached frets is empty, return 0. Good. All right. Okay, so I'm kind of left not knowing the best way to identify which notes will shift. I mean, I think we're going to have to do something that like answers which strings are empty in this chord. And if there's one, we clearly can try moving that and see if the width goes down. And if there's two, I don't know, that's a little weird. Well, we'll have to see. I definitely need some thinking through on this. Anyway, I think we'll work on that Monday. I hope we finish it, but it's probably big enough to be a little challenging. And there's only 6 possibilities, just like the 3-string thing. You know, there's the first string is empty, the second or the third, or 2 out of the 3, or, you know, it's like there's only so many ways you can do it. I just don't know if we can kind of restrict and say only some of those are interesting to us. Okay, but well, this is a good week. I'm glad we got the chord chart finished, and we got a nice index on it. I expect we'll finish the chord shapes, and then I think the rest of this stuff will defer and move on to the chord charts for hammered dulcimers, which are a bit different. But some of the things we've done will be useful there too, so that'll be good. All right, well, have a good weekend. I'll be back Monday, 2 to 4:30 Eastern Time, 7 to 9:30 p.m. UTC. And thanks, Mudshark in particular, for your help this week and on the whole project. All right, have a good weekend. Bye-bye.